Flew to Boston. The diner felt empty without her frantic energy. Mel was grumpier than usual, having to actually pour coffee himself. I miss her, Henry admitted 3 days later. Mel's coffee tastes like battery acid. Vera's tastes like watered-down battery acid. It's a subtle difference, but I miss it. Then the door opened. He had perfect teeth, perfect hair, and a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Surprise, Vera squealed. I'm engaged. The diner went silent. Even the grill seemed to hiss in disapproval. Engaged? Alice asked, wiping her hands. Vera, you've been gone 4 days. It's Steve Marsh, Vera beamed. Class president. The most popular boy in school. He remembered me. We met at the punch bowl and, well, it was magic. We're getting married in Vegas next week. Steve nodded, checking his digital watch. She's a delight. Just a delight. Vera, honey, did you tell them about the kilobytes? Oh, Vera clapped. Steve is in computers. He talks about them all the time. It's fascinating. Tell them about the silicon chips, Steve. Steve launched into a 10-minute monologue about processing power. By the end of it, Mel was asleep standing up, and Jolene was looking for a sharp object. Over the next few days, the cracks began to show. Steve hated animals. Vera wanted a zoo. Steve liked silence. Steve liked French food. Vera thought tacos were the height of culinary evolution. It came to a head during a celebration dinner at the diner. Steve brought a bottle of wine that cost more than Mel's car. I've been thinking, Vera, Steve said, cutting his steak with surgical precision. After we're married, you'll quit this job. We'll move to Silicon Valley. No more tap dancing. Dalesini, hasta lesini, palesini. It's frivolous. Vera froze. And the hamsters, Steve added. They're rodents, Vera. They have to go. Alice watched Vera's face crumble. She stepped in. Steve, maybe you should slow down. You barely know each other. We know enough, Steve said dismissively. Vera stood up. She looked at Steve, then at her friends. She looked at the diner, with its cracked vinyl seats and the smell of onions. I'm not pliable, she said, her voice shaking. I'm Vera. I like my hamsters. I like tap dancing. And I like this diner. Vera, be reasonable, Steve said. I am being reasonable, she said, pulling the ring off her finger. It was huge, likely expensive, and completely wrong for her. I'm breaking the engagement. Steve looked stunned. But I'm the class president, and I'm the girl who held the purses, Vera said, standing taller than she ever had. But I'm not holding yours anymore. Steve left in a huff, taking his expensive wine with him. The diner erupted in cheers. Mel came out of the kitchen with a bottle of champagne, or rather, sparkling cider, he'd found in the back. Good riddance. The guy was a bore. I almost died of boredom, just looking at his tie. Vera cried, but they were happy tears. I almost made a terrible mistake. She sniffled into Alice's shoulder. But you didn't, Alice said. You stood on your own 2 feet, just like the song says. Chapter 4. The S in the bowl. Money, Mel announced a week later, slapping a newspaper onto the counter. It's the root of all evil, and I need more of it. Business slow, Mel? Jolene asked, counting her tips. Freddie's feedback down the street is killing me, Mel growled. So do a contest. Alice shrugged. Spell Mel's. Mel's eyes lit up. Spell Mel's. Short. Punchy. I like it. But I'm not giving away $100. I'm giving away $3,000. $3,000? Alice choked on her coffee. Mel, you don't have $3,000. You don't have 3,000 cents. I won't have to pay it. Mel whispered, leaning in conspiratorially. I'll put the letters M, E, L, and S in a bowl. But I won't put the S in. That's fraud, Mel, Alice said. That's jail time. It's marketing, Mel argued. I'll add the S later, after I've made enough profit to cover the prize. It's a loan from the public. The contest began. The diner was packed. People ate burgers, just to get a ticket. The bowl emptied, refilled, emptied again. M's, E's, and L's were everywhere. "I need an S," Henry shouted, waving a fistful of tickets. "I got 14 E's." Mel watched from the register, rubbing his hands together. "Look at them eat, Alice. It's beautiful." "It's criminal," Alice muttered. Then disaster struck. Mel, in a fit of confidence, decided to rip up a losing ticket in front of a customer to show the fairness of the draw. "Wait," Jolene said, picking up the scraps later. "Mel, this ticket you ripped up? It was an M. You put the S in your pocket, right?" Mel patted his pockets. He patted his apron. His face went gray. I think I dropped it in the bowl by mistake when I was mixing them earlier." "So the S is in the bowl?" Alice asked. "The S is in the bowl," Mel whispered. At that moment, Henry let out a scream that shattered glass. "I got it. I got the S. I won. $3,000. Mel fainted. He actually hit the floor with a thud that shook the napkin holders. When he came to, Henry was standing over him, beaming. Mel looked at Alice. He looked at the joyous Henry. He looked at his empty cash register. He knew he would have to sell his car, his TV, maybe even the diner to pay this off. "Congratulations, Henry," Mel croaked. A single tear rolled down his cheek. Henry looked at Mel's devastated face. The joy faded from Henry's eyes. He looked at the ticket, then at his friend. "You know," Henry said slowly, "I don't think I want the money." "What?" Mel sat up. It's gambling money," Henry said. "My horoscope said to avoid sudden windfalls today. Bad karma." "You keep it, Mel." Henry tore the ticket in half. The silence in the diner was absolute. Alice felt a lump in her throat. Henry, who counted pennies for hot water, had just thrown away a fortune to save Mel from ruin. "Henry," Mel said, his voice thick with emotion. You're a pal. Free burgers. For a week. No, a month. Make it a year," Henry said, sitting back down. "And throw in a spoon for the hot water." "Done," Mel said. Alice watched them. It was a crazy place, this diner, full of liars, schemers, and lunatics. But every once in a while, the sun shone through the grease, and you saw the gold underneath. "Order up," Mel shouted, back at the grill. The sizzle of the meat sounded like applause. End of Volume I. The Blue Plate Special. Volume 2. Sparks and Evictions. Chapter 5. The Man Who Molted. The neon sign above the diner was a testament to Mel Sharple's life philosophy. It worked just enough to get by, but never enough to be impressive. For the last 3 weeks, a short in the wiring had rendered the D and the I completely inert. At night, the establishment proudly announced itself to the Phoenix Highway as Mel's NEA. "It sounds like a medical condition," Alice remarked, staring up at the flickering red tubes as she arrived for the morning shift. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of frying bacon and Mel's palpable irritation. He was currently yelling at the ceiling, or rather, at Jolene, who was on the roof attempting amateur electrical repairs. "Hand me the pliers, not the wires," Mel screamed, his voice vibrating through the ventilation ducts. I'm doing my best, Mel," Jolene yelled back. "But I think I just electrocuted a pigeon." The bell on the door jingled, admitting a man who looked like he had been tumble-dried in his suit. He carried a duffel bag and an aura of profound, crushing defeat. "Hello," the stranger said, his voice cracking. Is Mel here?" Alice wiped the counter. "He's currently communing with the great electrician in the sky. Can I help you?" The man blinked, his eyes red-rimmed. "I'm Monty, from Vegas." "The Siesta Mirage Hotel?" Mel emerged from the kitchen, looking like he'd gone 12 rounds with a fuse box. He squinted at the newcomer. "Monty? The busboy? From the hotel we stayed at in Vegas?" In the flesh, Monty sighed, dropping his bag. "Though there's less flesh than there used to be. I haven't eaten in 3 days." It turned out Monty was a refugee from love. He had been set to marry Raven, an exotic dancer famous for a number where she actually molted using feathers.